Interruption, but I'm Frank Isola. You did your first PTI yesterday, Izzy. Are you less nervous today?
Just give me a second.
Oh, clean up on aisle 5. You're not nervous. You were great yesterday. Nice
Pre-game. Just my usual pre-game routine.
You're one of those players.
Yeah.
Get a little nervous every once in a while. Hello again. Mike and Tony have decided to extend their spa weekend, so I'm pleased to be joined by my friend Israel Gutierrez. Now that's an applause. All right. Let's start today's show with the World Cup, and Vive la France! The second youngest team in the World Cup advanced to Sunday's final after beating Belgium 1-0 in St. Petersburg. The French goalkeeper, Hugo Lloris, posted his second straight shutout, and Kylian Mbappe has emerged as the breakout star of the tournament. The French, they'll get either Croatia or England in the final, but Izzy, you have to consider them favorites to win it all, right?
I mean, you almost have to, right? I mean, not only did this feel like sort of the Western Conference Finals of the NBA, where it was the real final, where you've got Croatia on the other side, kind of a Cinderella. England, you talked about them yesterday on their sort of fortunate path to this point. But, man, if it wasn't for Thibaut Courtois, this could have been a blowout here by France. They played so well. And, I mean, you mentioned Mbappe. Not only is Kylian Mbappe really fun to say, but that guy is super skilled. That little back heel pass in the box that almost led to 2-0. That team is playing great.
Right? Yeah, he's only 19 years old. You know, the thing about the French, and we talk about it all the time, you look at their history, they have very creative players over the years. Zidane, Thierry Henry, now Mbappe, Antoine Griezmann. But they're also winning now because of their defense. Yeah. You know, they didn't give up a goal in their last match against Uruguay. They didn't concede a goal today as well. And Belgium has nothing to be ashamed about. No. They had a terrific tournament. They knocked out Brazil. They came back from 2-0 down against Japan. France, though, is just a better team defensively with Lloris in goal, and then they have such creative players that cause so many problems for opposing defense.
You saw Belgium with that comeback against Japan, right? In 20 minutes, essentially scoring 3 goals here. And with plenty, you know, with about 20, 25 minutes left to play in this game, you thought, okay, they're going to get their chances. De Bruyne seemed like they'd stopped him. Lukaku, I think he had that one pass from LeBron in the box. Didn't have a great game, but you didn't think anybody, given this tournament, they've scored 14 goals to this point. You didn't think anybody would keep them from scoring, and France did that. And again, on the other side, it could have been 2 or 3 goals easily for them.
You know, what's interesting about Belgium, their game-winning goal against Japan is scored off of a corner kick that they defended, and then it leads to a counterattack. They did the same thing against Brazil, and in this match, they conceded a goal on a corner kick. Those are so important, and today they got beat at the most important time of the game.
France-England would be a lot of
it'd be fun.
As noted here on yesterday's show, LeBron James turned down a chance to play with tall Rondo in Philadelphia and will end up teaming with regular Rondo in the glamorous purple and gold. While most believe all of LeBron's free agency decisions are made well before the actual July wooing period, Sixers managing partner Josh Harris believes LeBron seriously considered being the final piece to the process. Frank, you believe it?
No, I don't. Strongly considered. It sounds like, you know, the movie A Few Good Men. Object? No, I strongly object. I think this is the Sixers trying to tell everyone we're okay saying that we came in second place, because if you go back to the scandal, the Twitter thing with Brian Colangelo, really a fiasco more than anything, and maybe the damage that they felt it did to their organization. Here's the thing, though. LeBron signed on July 1st, or agreed July 1st at about 8 o'clock at night. So how did he strongly consider this when free agency begins at midnight on July 1st?
I think it could have been a late pitch that intrigued him. I think the thing that was most intriguing to me was Harris said here, he sort of stopped himself when he was about to say that he implied that LeBron made this for non-basketball reasons, right? The move to L.A.
Which is what we all
think. That would make perfect sense when you look at the two scenarios. He went to Los Angeles without a guarantee of Kawhi Leonard. He went to Los Angeles without Paul George. And think about this. If he were to go to the Sixers on a 1-and-1 deal, 1 year with a 1-year option.
Should have done.
Would the Sixers reject that? No, they'd take that, right? And so worst case scenario, you're playing 1 year with the Sixers, in all likelihood making it to the finals again, and then you go to L.A. next year with your fellow superstar.
Yeah, but Izzy, we've been hearing for over a year that the Lakers were the team that he was going to go to. To me, the Sixers, they want it out there. It's almost like they're rebranding because they're trying to get Kawhi Leonard, and they're putting it out there. We believe if he comes to Philadelphia, because we all know that he wants to go to L.A., we believe he'll resign here. Then they're floating out this idea that Markelle Fultz looks great in training. I think they're doing that to kind of build up his trade value. I think this is the Sixers wanting to land one of these big guys. LeBron's out. Now they're going after Kawhi.
See, I don't think they need to do that. Just look at the landscape of the Eastern Conference. It's essentially the Celtics, the Sixers, and then maybe Milwaukee or Indiana. I think they're in great position as it is. I think this is more of a LeBron thing and a Lakers thing. It's just mind-blowing that he would basically waste a year in L.A. without being a serious contender unless there's a Damian Lillard trade on the works.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. You know, the summer, it's been a crazy one already, but who knows what's going to happen with Kawhi or maybe Damian Lillard. But you have to admit, it is pretty funny that the Sixers are going around saying, we're number 2, and they're happy about it, right?
I guess.
All right, as Carmelo Anthony and OKC finalize their divorce, the Houston Rockets, they're going to be first in line to sign the 10-time All-Star. And Izzy thought my guy Melo wouldn't have options. Guess what? He's got options. In fact, Houston is, as Woj put it, determined to sign Carmelo after losing forward Trevor Ariza and Luke Mamute in free agency. So would adding Carmelo make the Rockets more or less likely to beat the Warriors?
Are you trying to make me
Don't
laugh?
be laughing at my guy Carmelo. I'm not going to stand for that.
You remember last year when James Harden says essentially this is going to be the year or this has to be the year?
And it almost was.
Man, it almost was. And if it wasn't for a Chris Paul hamstring, I think it would have been. But this is sort of the deterioration that you're talking about here, where you might lose Clint Capella here. You've already lost Trevor Ariza and Luke Mbamute, and you're looking at, wow, I've got Ryan Anderson on my roster at $20 million this year, $21 million next year. I've got to put something there that I could at least say, I could at least call a viable option for the Rockets. And yeah, in this case, it's going to be Carmelo. Despite the fact that D'Antoni left New York because of him, it just doesn't seem like a great fit. But for the Rockets right now, if they're going to still try to contend, they have to try to put pieces together. It's just not going to be better than it was last year.
Luke Mamute is a defensive player. Trevor Ariza is a defensive player. And I think the way the Rockets are looking at it with Carmelo, they missed 27 straight three-pointers in Game 7. Now, Carmelo may take 27 straight shots. He ain't missing 27 in a row. And I think that they believe, if you go back to Carmelo, his best year in New York, Jason Kidd was his point guard. Jason Kidd, mature, a leader, is going to run the locker room. I think he would get the same thing in Houston. I eventually think Carmelo's going to end up in L.A. with LeBron. I think his best choice is Houston. You've won a national championship in college. You've been in the All-Star game. You've won 3 Olympic gold medals. Do the one thing you haven't done yet. Everyone else chases a championship. DeMarcus Cousins is doing it. Why don't you do it?
It is an interesting thought there, because obviously when you go from the Knicks, where it was all him or nothing toward the end, to playing with Russell Westbrook, where it wasn't really a situation where he would set him up well. In this case, with Mike D'Antoni, with Chris Paul, there could be something there.
I would do it.
If you've always despised the slow, intentional, foul-filled endings of NBA games, you might want to familiarize yourself with Nick Elam. Joe Posnowski writes that the Elam ending alternative suggests you, get this, turn off the clock at the 3-minute mark. At that point, you play to a target score, the leading team's total plus 7. Frank, it might feel a bit harebrained to some, but should the league at least test this playground-style method?
All right. Adam Silver all the time says it's on the table. We'll consider it. But since Mike and Tony aren't here, I'll be the old guy saying, get off my lawn with this. Number one, I'm so bad at math, it's confusing when you're telling me how this is all going to be arranged. I'll try it out maybe a little bit, but it's too much of a gimmick for the NBA, in my opinion.
Well, this Elam guy is a Mensa member, okay? So he's studied this, he's worked on this a lot. And I totally understand it. Like, if you think about playing in the playground, what happens towards the end of games? Guys just fouled, the heck out of you until you finally make a shot. Well, if you incorporate free throws into that, which you don't do on the playground, that makes this a more viable option. I understand, you were going to eliminate overtime, essentially, which I think is a good thing. You're not going to have buzzer beaters anymore at the end of game, but game winners aren't they better than buzzer beaters? Aren't they essentially buzzer beaters? And you're getting a game winner every time. I like the idea. I think the idea of doing it maybe in the preseason or in the G League would be great, just experimental.
So what if there's a tie game with 3 minutes left? Then you're basically playing the first one is 7.
Yeah, first one is 7. What's the problem?
All right, so this is what I'm going to do then. I'll take part of what you're doing, and I'm going to do it in overtime. Overtime, forget about 5 minutes. Don't have a clock in overtime.
Okay.
First one is 7 wins.
Okay. I mean,
and
that
then
does
the jump ball is big. So I'll take part of that, but I'll put it in overtime. That'll be how I'll go along with it.
Yeah, that does eliminate. There are some other problems, though, where you consider, well, wouldn't teams just start the fouling process before the 3-minute period, and then it makes sort of the teams always find loopholes in the rules, whether it be, the hack-a-shack rules and the adjustments to that, and you still find a way. They will find a way to muddy the game a little bit, but I think it should be checked out.
But if you want to throw away tradition, how about we start with this then? Let's get rid of the playoff seeding and get rid of conferences, division, top 16 teams. make the playoffs. And I know the NBA, their big thing is going to be travel. They're not traveling by stagecoach. They travel by pretty nice, charter planes. Let them do it that way.
I don't know. People are so adverse. They object to change so often in sports. I like this idea.
I'm one of those people. I object to it. All right. There is more debate on the impact of defensive shifts and what baseball should do about it, especially with hitting way down. The overall batting average in the majors is the lowest since 1972. ESPN's Jerry Krasnick spoke with a number of players who said, there's simply more to it than just saying, hit the ball the other way. Do the players make a good case as to why it's not easy to beat the shift? And is it time for the commissioner to do something about it?
I'm actually changing my mind on this subject as the game goes along. I used to be on that same sort of idea where, just hit the ball the other way, or you can just bunt the ball for singles until you force them out of the shift. But you're playing into the other teams there, right? If power hitters are bunting the ball and getting on first base, that's taking away the power that they hit with. But also, that's not easy to do, bunting the ball the other way. I think there was a player, Matt Adams, who broke a finger trying to beat the shift on a bunt recently. And here's the most important thing to me. That's not entertaining. I mean, you're taught, first of all, you're taught as a player, hit line drives, hit line drives, hit line drives, good things are going to happen. And as a fan, you want to see line drives. You want to see hard hit balls. You want to see home runs. And so these line drive hitters, these doubles and home run hitters, their job is to get on second base, not to get on first base and have three guys hit singles to get them home. That's difficult to do and, frankly, not as fun.
You sound like the super agent, Scott Boras, who says it discriminates against left-handed hitters. I think the players will eventually adjust. Now, to me, the defense is always shifting, especially the infield. If in the National League, if a pitcher is up with a runner on first, less than 2 outs, he's going to try to sacrifice. So then the third baseman, the first baseman are pinching in. Same thing with the outfield. Every time a batter comes up, a bench coach stands up and he starts arranging where the outfield should go. So when is it going to end? Now, if you want to tell me you could only have 2 infielders on each side of second base, all right, then at least this way, it's not a dramatic shift. But I just think it's up to the batters, unfortunately, to adjust.
I know people will sound like sort of the get off my lawn when you're just trying to go back to the old ways of baseball, but it just makes the game more entertaining. This way, it's not fun to watch.
But you really, when the players start talking about, because I'm going to get hurt because they have to bunt the ball.
I mean,
come on.
It's
that's what the instructional
You want to try to bunt a 95 mile per hour on your hands?
Pitchers do it all the
hands?
time.
Okay.
You got to stand there, get the bat head low. Come on, you know how to do that.
That's so entertaining.
All right, let's take our first break. But coming up, just how impressed should we be by DeAndre Ayton's Summer League success?
And we'll analyze LeBron's squat form. Gym talk on the way.
This is right in your wheelhouse.
My favorite.
I saw you in the gym yesterday. How did I look?
We don't want to talk about that.
All right, Izzy and I are about to have some words because that's how we roll. What's first?
DeAndre Ayton's performance at Summer League has been blank.
Expected, Frank.
Because it's Summer League, right?
Because it's Summer League. DeAndre Ayton, through Summer League so far, is averaging 16 and 11, shooting 67%. Last night he took on Mo Bamba and the Orlando Magic and was significantly better. Look, when you're a #1 pick, when you are this expected to be this good, when you have that size and that athleticism, you're supposed to dominate Summer League. So, against Mo Bamba, the encouraging thing is he looked significantly better there, but in Summer League, this is the numbers you're supposed to put up.
Mo Bamba. I'm going to say it's encouraging because when you're the Phoenix Suns, you haven't made the playoffs now for 8 years. That's the second longest drought in the NBA behind the Sacramento Kings. You're the #1 pick. You should play like this. And if you look at the Summer League history, Nate Robinson's been an MVP, Damian Lillard, Lonzo Ball, Glenn Rice Jr.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a star, but DeAndre Ayton has looked like a star, and they need this. And think about what Phoenix has done in the summer. They signed Trevor Ariza. You bring a veteran player into your locker room. And the big one, they re-signed Devin Booker. 5 years, $158 million. He's only 21 years old. And what are they thinking? DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker are the future of this team. The only problem is they're in the West.
To that point, though, he hasn't looked perfect. He's sort of been upright too much a couple of times, really not getting great post position, and still putting up these numbers. There's plenty of room for improvement, but man, this is a great start.
When LeBron goes away and the Warriors go away, it'll be the Phoenix Suns' time, about 10 years from now.
Will be.
All right, what do we got next?
After winning 17 of 21, the A's are blank.
They're baseballing. Frank, I mean, we've seen before what the formula is here. A great bullpen, some timely hitting, and you can go pretty far in this league. I'm going to throw some numbers out at you. The A's are 35-0 when leading after 7 innings. That's in large part thanks to Lou Trevino and Blake Trinan. You're talking about the team that's 4th in the majors in home run. That bullpen is obviously great. I'm a little concerned about this number here. They have a 791 OPS and 24 home runs in late and close situations. I don't know if that's sustainable, but they got 6 games to catch up to that second wild card spot. They keep playing like this, they're going to be sort of contending for that.
You're like Tim Kirkchin over here. I'm going to say that what they've done, they're contenders now because of what you mentioned. They're 6 games out of a wild card. Obviously, Yankees, Red Sox, one of them is going to be in the wild card, and right now Seattle is there as well. So they're 6 games out, and they're 17-4 since June 6th, so they're playing well. What's amazing about the Oakland A's, it's so unexpected. They have the lowest payroll in baseball.
Lower than the Marlins.
So it proves that, guess what, with pitching, and you mentioned the bullpen being 35-0 after leading after the 7th inning, and this is what the sport has become. Yes, hitting home runs is a big part of it, but the teams with the best bullpens are the teams that are usually winning.
And I'm loving the Trevino story, by the way. 26-year-old from Slippery Rock University's top 30 prospect coming in and dominating.
Yeah. All right, so what do we got next?
Ned Yost's ejection was blank.
Shruggable.
Shruggable?
Here's why, yes. So Ned Yost was complaining about a high strike, and this umpire strikeout. This umpire had been calling high strikes early on in this game, but what Yost was upset about was that when he was complaining from the dugout there, the umpire just shrugged at him, and he came out, and look at this argument here. Look, he gives you the shrug right there. He's trying to explain to him, hey, you have to give me more respect than just shrugging at me when I'm complaining. I'm not complaining about balls and strikes out here. I'm complaining about your response to me.
Yeah, and now really the only thing you can get ejected for anymore is complaining about balls and strikes because everything is on replay. It was smart of him to get ejected, and here's why. They're on pace to win 45 games. They have lost 10 games in a row.
That's not good.
Here's Ned Yost, who everyone thought was the worst manager alive. Then he won a World Series, and suddenly we had a different feeling about him. But they've lost 10 in a row. The team is in the dumps. To be on pace to win 45 games.
Listen, that's all.
You're looking for a reason to get run out of the game.
If you're an umpire, you have to be more professional than that. You're talking about a team that's that bad, and you're going to give them a reason to be that upset by just doing that?
But he gave Lucas Duda, who struck out on that, he gave him his couple of words, and that's where, the umpires draw the line on balls and strikes. And they let him go.
That was unprofessional of him.
All right, what do we got next?
Last one. LeBron's squat form is blank.
What do you got?
Intentional. He's
You
getting
think?
mocked for this, right? Because they're saying it's a shot from behind. They're saying that he didn't go down very far enough. It's a quarter or half squat. Listen, if you actually do your research on these things, quarter and half squats are more, they help you with athleticism more, right? And if you think about the way he plays the game, or anybody plays basketball, are you going down into a full squat before exploding? No, you're jumping like this, and you get that explosion that way. LeBron spends so much time and energy and money on his body, on his health, and on his strength. You think he's going to hire a trainer or have a trainer that's telling him to do these squats wrong?
It's not, now you're like Jack LaLanne.
Yeah.
But you hit it right at the beginning when you said, it's expected what he's going to do, and it's vain. That's the word, vain. Because LeBron, during the offseason, he loves to show everybody that he's working out. But this is the whole thing. Every player in every sport, because of social media, is constantly telling us that they're working out. You're supposed to work out during the offseason.
I actually want to work out with LeBron. We'll put
He looks great.
Let's do it.
He looks great. I'm telling you, he's going to play until he's 50. So that's when the Phoenix Suns will be ready to catch up. All right, that's it. Let's take one last break, but still to come, Cristiano Ronaldo makes a big-time move.
And Serena Williams gets a scare at Wimbledon.
Serena's not scared of anything.
Nope.
Up tonight on SportsCenter after PTI, we've got highlights and analysis of today's first World Cup semifinal between France and Belgium. Plus, the latest on Kawhi Leonard and over-under NBA season win totals with Brian Windhorst. See you 6 Eastern tonight with Jay Harris.
All right, happy time, everyone. Happy 64th birthday to Andre Dawson. All those years playing on that awful turf at Olympic Stadium ruined his knees, but that didn't stop the Hawk from becoming one of 4 players in Major League history with 400 home runs, 300 stolen bases. As a Cub, Dawson was the NL MVP in 1987, but when he entered the Hall of Fame in 2010, he did so wearing a Montreal Expos cap.
Forget to add that resume, Marlins luminary.
That's right. That's right. And he also played for the Red Sox. Happy anniversary, Brandy Chastain. On this day, 19 years ago, you converted the winning penalty kick as the U.S. defeated China in the World Cup final. Over 90,000, including President Bill Clinton, were at the Rose Bowl that day as Chastain ripped off her jersey and struck that iconic pose wearing a sports bra. FYI, the Women's World Cup next summer in France.
I was at ESPN.com writer Andrea Adelson's home watching that.
Happy trails, Cristiano Ronaldo, for my money, the best player in the world. He's leaving Real Madrid after 9 seasons to join Italian giant, is there any other kind, Juventus. This is the soccer equivalent of LeBron leaving Cleveland as a free agent, except that Real Madrid will receive $117 million for the transfer fee. By the way, Real Madrid eliminated Juventus the last 2 years in the Champions
Isn't it more like LeBron leaving the Heat as a super team to go to a regular team? I think that's more like what that was.
Knocking Cleveland. Be careful there. All right, no errors today. We're running out of show. Let's go to the big finish. Marvin Bagley III will miss the rest of Summer League with a pelvic bone bruise. Is that a cause for concern?
Listen, I'm concerned whenever the Sacramento Kings draft somebody because it might be a problem. Serena lost the first set, then made it to the semifinals. Impressed?
I'm impressed. You want to know why? Serena lost the first set in the majors. She is now 39 and 35 when she loses the first set. That's impressive.
She did not look good in that first set today. I was worried.
But you know what, though? When you're going to try to hit baseline with Serena, you're not going to win. All right, new Panthers owner David Tepper says he's contractually obligated to keep the Jerry Richardson statue. Your thoughts?
Listen, if they can sort of vandalize a LeBron James mural in L.A., they're probably going to do some
I didn't know it was a Jerry Richardson statue.
The new PGA Tour schedule will officially move the PGA Championship to May. Okay by you?
It's okay by me because this will be another reason for golfers to complain. If they don't complain about the golf course at Shinnecock, they'll complain about the PGA moving from August to May. One last one, the Rays unveiled a clear roof stadium that would seat 30,000. You impressed?
It's about 20,000 too many seats, in my opinion.
We're out of time. Thanks for watching. I'm Frank Isola.
And I'm Israel Gutierrez. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
England, Croatia. Who do you got?
I got Croatia and enough.